I know. I'm saying I am the mess. I am.
It be like that. It be like that sometimes.
It does be like that.
It does be like that. Say that back to yourself really slowly.
It does be like that.
Dude, so I was having this, it wasn't even an argument. People were having an argument about the new Pokemon game, some of my friends, and I just kind of hopped in and I was like, well, your opinion is invalid because you believe in neither the Pope nor Abraham Lincoln. And this dude went ballistic. He's like, how fucking dare you? I was like, dude, like read that sentence back to yourself. And then you tell me that you're still mad.
Okay. Let's break down the structure of that real quick. The Pope is cool. Abraham Lincoln was a pretty fucking cool guy. You know?
Good shit.
Some can say that you could see what goes right through his head, you know?
Ooh. Dude, we have those fucking candies that are the coins. And one of them is the JFK one, and like they don't come with threads, so we have to thread them ourselves and poke the hole. And whoever threaded this year's missed the opportunity to put it right through his skull.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, top 10 reasons why we're going to hell.
Yeah, that was number 1. What would be number 2?
I don't know. Listen to the past 144 episodes, and I'm sure you can find 99 more.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Man, but I'm glad we got this computer fixed. But I have a feeling I'm going to have to start searching through my options or my settings and seeing what the fuck is going on with all the other stuff I got going on right now.
Yeah. You know, once you get like too comfy, Windows will be like,
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Sorry. PTSD. Yeah, but so Gabe, are you ready to commence this year in review episode?
Yeah, let's christen this bitch and say sayonara.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Second City Kids podcast, episode number 145.
Feels weird, man. 145.
Yeah, we are back on a decent day on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. Extremely decent for December's sake.
Yeah, it's kind of wet, though, so I can't go skate, which is my gripe.
Yeah, but fucking a couple of days ago, we had like 60 degrees. And
it was tight.
It was fucking gorgeous outside. The bikes came out. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. But yeah, pretty nice day here today. So, as stated on the pre-roll, we are here to do our year in review episode. My personal opinion, the year in review episodes are always some of our best because, I don't know, it's just nice to recap the year sometimes.
Absolutely.
And I've looked back at previous year in reviews, and yeah, always a good time. Always a good time. Never disappoints. And it's kind of fun to put a nice little cherry on the top of the year. And 2019's been a pretty good one.
Yeah, we've had some ups and downs, and we've had a lot of good albums and some things in between.
Correct. I told Gabe yesterday this may actually be our most active year ever. Last year, I believe we had 44 by the end of the year. This year we had 45, so we beat it by 1. I was on vacation for a couple weeks. You were on vacation for a couple weeks, so
yeah, we're still missing 7.
Yeah, 6,
question
7,
mark
6, 7 long.
Well, I guess it also depends on what day of the week the beginning and end of the year line up in, right?
This is true. Yeah, this is true. So yeah, I mean, it's good. It's the 29th and we're ready to go ahead and go. But other than that, I mean, before we get into like the nitty gritty, all the crazy good stuff that we got planned for you guys today, Gabe, how was your week, buddy?
Good, man. We celebrated Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, went to that Potter pop-up bar, had some fun here and there.
Okay.
Drank Malort for the first time.
Malort?
Yeah.
What the fuck is Malort?
It's supposedly a Chicago favorite, and everything about it going in to going out is just absolutely terrible. But I had that mixed with mint juice, and they called it the Voldemort. It was all right.
I give him credit for that.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad.
Pretty creative. The butterbeer was decent, and the golden snitch was like a golden graham cracker with cinnamon in it. It was pretty good.
So overall, you would grade your experience? How well?
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
If you guys plan on going, I definitely recommend a weeknight, and definitely double fist your drinks because you're not going to want to stand in that line twice.
Okay.
So just order 4 up front. And my recommendation is order 4 different ones so you can try more shit.
Where is this located?
At Replay.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sweet. Sounds good. My week, whatever. It's Christmas. We had fun. Elisana got a bunch of good stuff that's really annoying. The kiddie toys. We tried to go see Frozen 2. We got like 75, 80% through, and then Elisana started to get a little antsy. She wanted to run around the whole entire theater, and it's like, if it was an empty movie theater, no problem. But it was like decently packed because I guess people like to see movies during Christmas. So, I mean, from what I saw, I liked it.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely darker in tone. That's something that we talked about when we saw the trailers drop and stuff like that. It was definitely darker, so that was interesting. And yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like that bad of a film, but unfortunately, didn't get a chance to finish it, so I can't get it like a full grade. But yeah,
Down the line.
yeah, down the line, not too bad. Anyway, so Gabe, I mean, we got some stuff. Do you want to do this album first, or do you want to do it like what order are you feeling for this? Want to do movie first?
Yeah, let's just go top down. So, movie of the year. You can go first for this one, my friend.
All right. So actually, I got 5 movies that I have. No, I'll start at the top, and then we'll just kind of go through the rest. So my number 1 movie of the year is a franchise that people care deeply about. All right.
Is it Star Wars?
One that all the fans were really looking forward to, the end of a saga, so to speak. My favorite movie of the year was Avengers Endgame.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. The
Yeah.
other big Disney one.
Correct. Just because I feel, I mean, I had a great time with Star Wars. Again, we talked about it last week on the pod, but I just think Endgame was like perfect. I think everybody was satisfied with Endgame. So I just think it was the perfect film. I don't think you could do it any better. We got everything we've wanted out of the film. We got some great stories. We got some good laughs, some very somber, sad moments. It made you feel everything, right? And like I said, Star Wars made me feel those things too, but I think for this phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think it was a perfect note to end on. Some big moments, all that good stuff. So I'm putting Endgame at the top of my list this year. Do you want to alternate, or you just want me to go through my list?
Let's go through your list, Chief.
All right, so Endgame, number 1. Number 2, Star Wars. Same kind of deal. I think it put a beautiful cherry on top of a great story. And yeah, man, I'm just happy that we got to see it, and I'm glad that the movie did not disappoint me. All right, and yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. We talked about it last week. Don't need to go into much more detail than that. Next up, The Joker. The Joker, solid film. It was definitely a thinking man's film. You could definitely break down a lot of aspects of the film, which is why I enjoyed it so much. You and I had a pretty in-depth look. We took a different, look from different points of view, how we perceived the story, how it may have actually played out versus what may have happened. It was cool. So Joker was very, very cool. Next up on the line, Toy Story 4. I loved it. I laughed. I cried. It was a great story. I think this is the reoccurring thing. Put a cap to this story. I don't think we needed to see it go any further. Put a nice little epilogue to the end of Toy Story 3. Again, some people didn't like it, I heard, just because, I don't know, they felt like they didn't want Woody to leave the gang, so to speak. Spoiler alert, sorry.
They didn't see it now.
Yeah, they didn't want Woody to leave the gang, but I think it was about time that he did something for himself,
Absolutely.
And I think him as a character deserves that much, and it was a wonderful little send-off. And last but not least, Spider-Man, Far From Home. It was awesome. Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job, and
Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. He did a good job. So those are my top 5.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, my top 5 films. And I think it's how all but one is not Disney related. That's
There you go.
That's pretty sick.
So at my top, I have Ford versus Ferrari.
Whoa. Oh, there you go. Okay.
You good? You good, go?
Yeah, we're good.
So at my top is Ford versus Ferrari. I spoke about this movie extensively when I did my review. Like I said, I knew the story. Both of these actors and the entire crew did a fucking phenomenal job at portraying their roles, and it just had me by the balls for the entire 2.5-hour ride, even though I knew exactly what happened, step by step, and all those things. And I think that to revisit something and make it interesting again, that's a whole feat of its own.
Absolutely.
Number 2, Star Wars. Good runner-up. It's kind of same sentiment. I'm glad that we both enjoyed this film, and I'm glad that, at least for us, it was a very satisfying ending. I know people have mixed feelings about it for whatever reason, but I seriously enjoyed it, and I think it's probably the most action-packed Star Wars film to date.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, The Lighthouse. I'm kind of starting to warm up to this movie. I know I had a kind of mixed opinions about it when I did my initial review.
I wouldn't call it mixed.
There was definitely elements of the movie that I didn't appreciate or maybe care for, but I think as time sort of went on and I had room to digest it, a full 8 weeks to digest the film, it kind of grew on me. And I think I might revisit it, maybe do a deep dive on the other cast.
Okay.
What are we at now? Number 4?
Yep.
Number 4, How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Oh,
Thought it was
okay.
cute, fun, all that good shit. And then number 5, Toy Story 4.
Okay.
Summed up my thoughts pretty well. And yeah, man, it was kind of rough not to cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it very difficult to not get emotional about the whole entire thing. Being a guy who cares about the franchise so much and loves these characters so much, going back to childhood, it was a nice little story, and I think they did a great job with it. So that was movie talk. That was movies. Alrighty, let's do games.
Yeah, so
I'll let you
lots
start.
of good stuff came out this year, including but not limited to phenomenal remakes, game franchises that have been revived by surprising studios, new IPs and shit like that. Things like these come out every year, but I think 2019 was rather special. So we always have like a weird little thing with our game of the year because we have one that was the game that we enjoyed most that came out in 2019, and then we have the game we put the most time in
Yep.
2019. So my game of the year that came out in 2019 is Resident Evil 2.
Okay.
Such a good fucking remake. And like I said, I'm not jumpy, I'm not skittish, but that game makes me all those things, man.
Okay.
It was just a good reprise, a good reimagining of such a fucking cult classic. And, I told it to you, but like it's good to have Resident Evil back on top.
Correct.
And the game that I put the most time into this year is Persona 5. I have 90 hours in my first playthrough. And the only reason I didn't start a second playthrough is because the enhanced version P5R comes out in March.
I mean, I'm a total moron, Gabe. I have no idea what the fuck Persona 5 is.
Yeah, it's a JRPG, man. One of my
Okay.
buddies was like, hey, you should scoop it up. Saw it at Best Buy. It was $20. And I said, fuck it.
Okay.
Kind of let it sit for a few weeks. And then I hopped in, and there was like a point where like I didn't touch anything else.
Okay.
And so we cranked out 90 hours worth of content and played through 1. And we're not even like fully done yet. So
Very, very
I had
cool.
a fucking blast with that game.
Very, very cool. Okay. So my game of the year is Jedi Fallen Order, right? Just because I've talked about it at length. I fucking love this game. I think it was the Star Wars game we've always wanted, right? And yeah, great little story. It's kind of self-containing. It's canon, but it could be self-containing if you wanted it to be. And the gameplay was great. Now the only complaint that I have is all performance-based. They've kind of sharpened that up a little bit, but
yeah.
there's
Optimization will come down the line, of course.
yeah, I popped it in recently, and there's still some issues with it, but I just love kind of the customization that it gave you with the lightsaber and the color and all that good stuff. How you can make the ship look, how you can make the guy look, and like I said, a good story. Definitely kept me on the hook the whole entire time, and did a great job. So, the game I spent the most time playing this year also came out this year. It is MLB The Show 2019. Just because I'm a baseball mark and I can't help it. And yeah, I've put so many fucking hours into this game. It's fucking ridiculous. I love baseball games. I've learned that out of all the sports games that exist, I prefer to play baseball games.
It's good to break up the monotony because I feel like you and I are very centered towards FPS and very actiony games. And,
Correct.
Sometimes it's nice to sit back and just hit a ball.
Correct. Yeah, and I put a lot of hours in like my own characters. I have multiple
The
players.
whole Haramio family.
Yeah, multiple players in different franchises, different positions, things like that. Having a blast. I actually put like 6 hours in last night. Sick. But yeah, so had a good time with that. Overall, that's easily the game I spent the most time playing this year. So there is that. So what do you want to do next, Gabe?
Well, we got a lot of music stuff.
Yeah, so I figured we
Shall we?
want to dive into it now.
Yeah, let's just get right through it. So,
All right.
our albums of the year, I'm sure we have some overlap, but we do a top 5 countdown. I'll start with my 5th one, Varials in Darkness.
Okay.
I feel like, I gave this album a pretty solid review when it came out, but there was, there's like that period of time when you revisit a work and you're like, yeah, this thing is heavy, brutal.
Okay.
There's really something special about what they did here and how they one-upped not only themselves, but kind of the hardcore bar of where to put all of these other subsequent bands. And they did a fucking phenomenal job. With the production, we spoke a bit, how they do these phenomenal sort of atmospheric transitions. I'm a sucker for that shit, man. Good
Yes, you
job,
are.
Varials.
Yep, absolutely. Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Me next. All right. For my 5th, after kind of doing some reworking, some tooling around on the albums of the year, this one actually did make the cut. The Devil Wears Prada, The Act, is
Very
my
cool.
5th. On the list, and I just think take a look. I think it shows tremendous growth of this band. You mentioned it on the top 10 countdown that we had last week, about how they kind of broke the mold and became less of a fad. This shows tremendous growth from them. I think that they've matured as musicians. Not to say that they're not going to have their crazy heavy moments, because they still do. They definitely still have it in them. I know that. But this showed growth as musicians, as songwriters. Like I said, I think Chemical might be their best song they've ever written ever. And I think it was a good album. It was definitely on the higher end of Devil Wears Prada's album in the last couple of years, or last couple of releases. And yeah, they should be proud of that. They did a great job, and it is number 5.
So that's also my number 4. I'm going to touch on that a little bit. I kind of spoke last week how Dead Throne was their solidification into the veterans, of the core scene, the metalcore scene. And if that is a testament to these band's longevity, then Chemical, the act as an album, is a testament to you can be as creative as you want, and you can be intuitive. You could try new things while still remaining within the realm, within the spectrum of what the metalcore kids like. We saw bands like Wage War do it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of mixed opinions on that. You did the I Prevail album review, and we see bands kind of trying to cater to this style more so easily, where Bring Me the Horizon had that jump.
Mm-hmm.
The Devil Wears Prada, and I'm not saying they're going to make that crazy jump and be pop music one day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that they had a blast, and you can tell writing this album,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a testament to always push your boundaries. And maybe if it doesn't sound like, last year's album or 2 years ago's album, that's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. And I think it'd be very easy to get stuck in a rut, and they fought that. They fought that off pretty well. None of their releases I felt have been like them just, going through the motions. I feel like everything has got something to say along the way. So
Absolutely.
They've continued to mature and be a great band.
We are on your number 4.
Yes, sir. Counterparts, Nothing Left to Love.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a really good album from a band that has been around for a little bit, but I think this is a tremendous step forward for them. I think that they showed that they can write some beautiful songs along the way. Obviously, hardcore people tend to think doesn't lend themselves to that kind of style, but in actuality, to me, when hardcore is beautiful, it is super beautiful. It's that supermodel, right? And they've done a great job. They had some really good songs, some high moments, and it kind of slows it down at times. You know what I mean? And it makes you think about what they're saying as opposed to just kind of going apeshit balls to the wall the whole entire time. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure this is probably higher on your list, but
this is actually my number 3. So
okay,
I
so
like this little alternating thing.
Yeah.
You nailed it on the fucking head, dude. Counterparts is not new to the scene. They've been doing hardcore, and they've been doing hardcore well for the better part of 10 years almost.
Sounds about right. Yep.
For 10 years, and Nothing Left to Love is. Oh, man, it's a very interesting album musically, but more so lyrically. I think that when you brush past the awesome guitar work, the good production, the fucking, Will Putney's magic, and the band's talent, I think once you brush past that, sit down and listen to the way Brendan Murphy's vocals and lyrics lend themselves to the instrumental work and everything else about it, I think that's what brings this album from good to great, and I think it's super deserving of my number 3 spot.
Correct. So I'm generally curious on how much more we're going to line up along the way because
I got 2 left, you got 3 left.
Yeah, so my 3 is Burials in Darkness.
Okay.
So basically, piggybacking off what you said, this is probably my favorite, like, straightforward hardcore album this year. I know a lot of people look to Knock Loose as kind of being the face of it, and absolutely they are, and there's definitely... It definitely made my honorable mentions this year, which we'll talk about a little bit after the fact. But Knock Loose did a great job. However, In Burials brings kind of a different texture. When you go to a burger restaurant, you expect some beef, right? But there's something to be said when you include a little bit of oatmeal in that beef, right? Give it a little bit.
Yeah, hold up, Chief. What?
Shush. But yeah, giving a texture to a style of music that you know what to expect, I think is interesting. They definitely brought new things to the table. We talked about a little bit of the ambient noise that they brought to the album. Shows like tremendous maturity. A lot of the lyrical content was fantastic. We talked about the feature with Brendan from Counterparts. In my opinion, still the best this year, unless somebody drops something ridiculous in the next couple of days. I don't see that changing. And these guys did a great job, and really impressed with them. I talked about how Counterparts took the step up. These guys took 2-3 steps up, at least in my book.
They did a long lunge. They got them fucking 6-foot legs.
Correct. Yeah. They definitely moved up in my books, and I'm definitely keeping a closer eye on them now than I was before. And not to say the last album was bad, because it wasn't. It was absolutely pretty fucking good. This one just takes it so much further.
Good stuff.
And yeah, I love it. It just makes me feel stuff, and I like music that makes me feel
Varials is
stuff.
like those porn website signups. There's like no credit cards, no bullshit. You know what I mean? That's what you get with Varials.
Sure.
Full frontal penetration, buddy. Anyway, my number. We're already on number 2.
Yeah, man.
My number 2, Norma Jean, All Hail. This is a fucking, what is it? Your number 2 as well?
Yeah.
All right, let's just fucking go at it then, man. Norma Jean dropped a phenomenal fucking album front to back, and kind of same setup. These guys aren't green beans. They're not new, but our kind of inside joke was that they went out of relevancy for a little bit, and now they're back. I don't know what the fuck has changed in their formula for writing or their lineup or whatever, right? Because I was never truly invested until All Hail came out, and you got stuff like Mind Over Matter or Mind Over Mind, Safety Last, Landslide Defeater, all fucking, Pit Warrior anthems out
Bangers.
there.
Absolute
Yeah, absolutely.
bangers.
And dude, I don't know. There's just something about very quality metalcore music that doesn't per se stray too far from maybe the mold or the recipe, but when nobody makes cookies like your grandma does. You know what I mean? And that recipe, you may be able to make it at home. You or your wife may be able to make it at home, but there's something special about just grandma's cookies.
Correct. Absolutely. These guys, like you said, they disappeared for a little bit. I think, it kind of easily fell out of the limelight, which I think is something that they intended, because they think they wanted to craft a really well crafted album. They had a great production. We talked about that. Great production. Everything sounds very slick, very smooth, very aggressive from a band that's getting up there in age, which you wouldn't think that they would have that level of aggression in them. You would think that maybe they would go the route of maybe a Devil Wears Prada, maybe where they decide to soften it up a little bit, or maybe make more straightforward rock songs. But they said, fuck it. We're going to go out there and still go 100 miles per hour and still write songs that, like you said, that would get the pitmasters rolling and get kids punched in the face. And I saw them live this year. They smoked it. They were absolutely fantastic. And yeah, man, this next set, we've talked about how, the future of the scene from the couple of bands we mentioned. We talked about Bad Omens and Northern Ghost and Thousand Below and stuff like that. This next couple of album releases coming up moving forward. Every Time I Die, I know they got something coming out. I think
with Will Putney.
Yeah, with Will Putney. I think it's going to be the revival of the Elders, you know what I mean? To kind of put everybody straight, saying, hey, hold on. We still could fucking drop some.
It's going to be the old Titans versus the new Warriors.
Yeah, correct. We still got some fucking bombs, and we're going to fucking slap you around a little bit and put you back in your place, which there's nothing wrong with that. I am excited to see that. So, yeah, man, Norma Jean smoked it this year. So, good stuff.
Good stuff. My number 1, no surprise, Fever War, Piss Poor. I never realized it until you outright said it, that Gabe, you're a sucker for that Southern sound. These guys ain't even from the South. They're from fucking Ohio.
Well, neither is Buffalo. Neither is Every Time I Die. They
and they're from Buffalo.
Yeah,
that's a phenomenal point.
Yeah.
I think that there's something special about kind of the way this album comes together, because it is a kind of nod to those dirty, greasy rock and rollers from the 70s all the way to the 90s before they kind of disappeared into obscurity like Norma Jean, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these guys bring back that tried and true sound of, we are fucking bored, let's make some bitchin' ass music out there. And I mentioned that with their earlier releases, they were kind of on that hardcore identity crisis where they didn't know what to do, but I think with Piss Poor, they found their stride, they fucking hit it, and they were going for a hot minute. At the moment, the band is kind of in question, unfortunately, because the lead singer did die.
Yeah.
But they, if this is it, they left off on a hell of a fucking high point.
For sure. Yeah, that's definitely upsetting, because I agree with you. I wasn't as crazy about I did enjoy it. I wasn't as crazy about it as you were, but I definitely saw that this was a band that, like you said, was making the next move, that was going to be moving along to greater things, you know what I mean? And it is very sad to see them, kind of have to screech down because, the unfortunate passing of their lead vocalist. That's horrible. Young guy. But yeah, definitely a nice tribute, because I think they deserve that. They definitely earned it. But for my number 1 album of the year.
Sanction.
Actually, no.
Northlane.
Yeah, Northlane.
There we go.
Alien is my number 1 album of the year. I actually listened to it again the other day just to kind of reaffirm that, just to make sure that I'm not losing my mind, that it wasn't just a flash in the pan. So I went through the whole thing over again. And I'm like, man, there is nobody else right now who is making music exactly like this. They have literally done something unique. They have done something that other bands will try to replicate because it came off so well. it's Northlane. It's the new Northlane. You know what I mean? It looks different. It sounds different. And I talked about it when we talked about the album, how I felt that this was a band that hit its ceiling, right? You know, they're like a B+ band that hit its ceiling. But they completely have changed my mind. They dropped an A+ album this year, and it was such a great thing, and so many different ideas and so many different sounds, and just they incorporated a little bit of everything, for everybody on this album, and I love it. I love it again. I listened to it again, and I just everything about it is fantastic. So
you're absolutely right. There was kind of a hard cap that we saw with what was it, Node and Mesmer, 2015 and 2017 respectively, where we're like, yeah, these guys would be a great opener for the main act. You know what I mean?
The middle of the lineup.
Yeah, something along those lines, depending, right? But there's something special because Northlane did rise to the occasion, and they blew that glass ceiling into tiny little fucking pieces with these breakdowns.
Correct.
And it didn't make my cut simply because, well, you and I like very different things in our albums. But
maybe not so much because this year was kind of...
Yeah, we had, 3 albums overlap? Yeah. But there's something to be said when everybody in the scene takes notice, and they may not love your album, they may not, be crazy about it, but they give you that head nod, and you have their respect because now all eyes are on Northlane. We still got some gaps to fill in those heavy set hitters, man.
I mean, I think what are they? They're Australian? Are they Australian?
Yeah, they are from Australia.
They're
something in the water.
They're an Australian band who came across seas and had a United States tour, and they did some sellouts here. Granted, smaller venues, but it starts somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
And now next time they come, they're like, you know what? We sold out that one. Let's do it the next venue up. Just maybe a couple hundred more kids and see what happens. And I think we're seeing them grow, and I just didn't see it coming from them.
Columbus, Ohio, and Australia share the same water supply.
Yeah, I guess the water teleports from the whatever.
There's just one interplanetary pipeline.
Yeah, just goes sucked in and going right straight to the other side.
It's like Satan is right in the middle of it.
It's like that hole from The Simpsons when Maggie was jumping in and out of the bubble. From the movie.
Yeah,
that's the fucking water from Australia to Ohio. I guess I don't know, but yeah. So those are the albums. But do you have any honorable mentions you want to talk about?
Yeah, I have actually 2, mayhaps 3 honorable mentions I want to mention. Sanction. Dude, Sanction came out down and dirty. They're it's so hard to describe. It's like when you play a game of Mortal Kombat and the dude whoops your ass so bad you just let him. And you're
just like, okay, I'm gonna take notes.
Yeah, and you're a little bit frustrated that you couldn't come back from it, but like I said, it's just mad respect for them because they're not a big band by any means, dude. No. And they have no right doing all this apeshit stuff, man. Correct. I might just have to cop one of those Sanction hoodies.
Yeah?
Yeah. Knocked Loose, a different shade of blue. I like this album a lot. It just simply didn't make my cut stylistically. That's not to say that Knocked Loose doesn't have their own niche of sound, per se. But great fucking... I can't even say sophomore effort. Great follow-up to Laugh Tracks.
I think calling it a sophomore effort will diminish what they accomplished.
Well, I think that's their 3rd album, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought that was the second one. I thought Maybe. Laugh Tracks was the first one.
Oh, let me pull up the discography really quick.
He's pulling it up, dude.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
It is their sophomore work, but it is an honorable sophomore work,
absolutely,
in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And then my 3rd one, Sea Space Cowboy, the correlation between entrance wounds and exit... Correlation between entrance and exit wounds.
Yeah.
Saw this band grow from violent, chaotic, mathcore, that whole Eastcore style that like Dillinger every time, and stuff like that.
Take a shot every time you give mentions to Dillinger in the last 5 weeks of the podcast.
Take a shot every time I mention every time I die. You're gonna be hammered by the end of the 40 minutes. And I think they really starting to refine their sound and what they're doing with their music.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it as much as some of their EPs, but that's okay because growth is important, and as long as we're taking steps towards building a new musical foundation, I'm all for it, man, because you never know what 2021 music's going to look like, right?
Yeah, for sure. Correct. For my honorable mentions, Slipknot, We Are Not Your Kind. Fucking the album fucking rips, man. It rips. Slipknot.
Long live the Kings.
Absolutely. I think you and I were kind of afraid of the album because the last one was kind of disappointing, and maybe the last couple.
And you know what? That is a hot take because I feel like a lot of people don't feel that about The Great Chapter.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like you and I are like, no, dude, the album was kind of butt.
I mean, it's definitely not my favorite. If you made me list them, it's definitely at the bottom for sure. And I think we were a little bit afraid But Corey Taylor, Jim Root, Mick, these guys fucking they showed us something, man. They showed us that they still have it. And not saying that the album was like brutal. It definitely had its moments, but it was like well crafted songs that had the brutality, but also had a tremendous amount of melody. And just showing us, hey man, we're sticking around. I like their what they're kind of going for, the aesthetic recently. I don't know if you saw the music video for Nero Forte.
Yes.
Yeah, they how all of them are wearing different colored jumpsuits now. I'm like, why have they not been doing that for the last 20 years? What's wrong with them?
I can definitely dig it, man. Slipknot kind of shattered the world in 1999, and they're still, the shockwaves of the earthquake are still flowing throughout the metal community in 2019.
Correct. Next up, you talked about Sanction already. You don't have to mention it. It was fucking fantastic. Just a fucking full assault on your fucking ears in a good way. And I felt a little violated, but I felt like I had to call them to make sure it was okay with them.
It's like, when you see like a car crash on the road and like, you shouldn't look, but you still kind of do out of like morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the guy in the car.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That and they just, man, had a young band that obviously has a lot to prove, and they fucking proved a lot with this new album. So they did a great job. And Dayseeker Sleep Talk.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no way.
You gave that album a 10 when you initially reviewed it.
The high points are very, very high. There are some songs on there that I'm just like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is what I want. And there's other ones that are just like, they're okay. And I think it kind of falls from, it kind of fell into the whole kind of Vanna Void thing, where like the first half of the album was like, ugh, and the second one's like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? And yeah. In retrospect, I changed the grade. I think it probably get closer to an 8.
I think you were perhaps on that initial release excitement. Recency bias, perhaps.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I'd put that on there, and we'll talk about a little bit more along the lines, because I got another talking point that we'll bring up in a minute.
Good stuff. What's your single of the year, my friend?
Sleep Talk by Dayseeker.
Okay.
Just because I love the aesthetic of it. I think it had one of the best choruses this year.
Sure.
It's just my daughter sings along to it.
Yeah, there you go. That's an instant winner in your books, right?
Correct. My daughter sings it. And granted, she doesn't get the words 100%, but hey, she's trying. And you can see her dance to it, and I don't know.
Before you know it, she's going to be telling you about the undertow.
Shut up. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, I just love the chorus so much. And like I said, it had some depth, and had some layers to it, some uniqueness. So I'm putting Sleep Talk on there.
Good stuff. Mine is Masochist by a band called Polaris. Oh my word, how fucking catchy is this song?
Yeah, that's very. I was listening to it the other day. I'm like, man, that's a good song, man.
They are really kind of chiseling their Michelangelo statue, because I love their 2017 release, and now they're putting some fine fucking details on the band and the brand name, and I dig it. And this is an album I'm super excited for. It's like Every Time I Die, and then this, and then Great American Ghost.
For sure. Yeah, man, they definitely took a little bit out of the Anime Affliction book, and just like, you know what? Let's just write a fucking chorus that will absolutely fucking kill.
Yep, but the song does not let up at any point, man.
Correct. And yeah, I enjoyed it too. It was in the discussions. I thought about it for a little bit, but I'm like, that. There was an Unsated by Slipknot. I would put that up there as well.
Yeah, that was those were the early days of, okay, we might be in the clear, but we might not be.
Yeah, man, because they could have took a hard turn real quick. You know what I mean? Because like even the Great chapter had The Devil and I. You know what I mean? And that song fucking rips. But yeah, it turns out we were right. They were right. So good for them.
Good stuff. What is your concert/show of the year?
All right, so
Northlane.
No, I didn't go to Northlane.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, you goof. No, I'm gonna give this to one band that I saw this year. One band that fucking blew my fucking face off. Thrice.
Oh wow.
So I saw Thrice earlier in the summer, and I've done nothing but wanted to see them again ever since.
But you can't though, because you've already seen Thrice.
Fuck, you're right.
You cannot.
I can't ruin that.
You legally cannot. You are bound by
the rule of Thrice.
Every trick in the book.
The rule of Thrice. Yeah, man. Nah, I'm gonna run it. No, if I see them 9 times, and like I've seen thrice. I don't. Anyway, not gonna get into that.
The fever thrice.
Yeah, but yeah, the Thrice just fucking blew me away earlier this year. And like I said, I tried to think about other bands, because I saw Dev Wears Prada, I saw Norma Jean this year. I've actually went to an okay amount of shows, at least
for being married and having a mortgage and a kid.
Yeah, correct. I went to a decent amount of shows this year. And they kind of just fucking set the stage, and nobody's gotten close since then. I want to see them again so bad. That's
cool.
How good it was. So
I'm glad to hear that, man.
I think that's a good complaint for a band. If you're like, man, I wish I saw more. Or, man,
You guys need to come the fuck around to Chicago.
yeah. Or when you see them, when you're like, man, I just want to see them again. I think that's a good thing. You know?
Absolutely.
I think it means they've definitely left an impression. So I definitely would recommend it. If they come through, then you guys should probably snag some tickets and fucking go ape shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the wife wants to see them too now because she's gotten into their music recently. I'm like, yes, because that's like half the battle for me is I have to get the woman at least to like
Accept the idea.
yeah, at least 2 or 3 songs, and then she's like, okay, you know.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so Thrice fucking blew me away this year, so that's mine.
Would you low teens with a goat? Would you low teens on a boat? Man, no contenders, baby. You know what it is.
Stop that. You should be ashamed of yourself for that.
Yeah, Every Time I Die played on a boat this year, and I saw them, and it was a fucking man. You know when you're watching boxing and like the dude throws a haymaker, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that was me when I got out.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I don't have much else to say, man. It was a fucking blast, other than the 40 chess game that was that pit that night, especially against the crashing waves.
Hey man, it is what it is. Swaying on the Hudson was the name of the episode. If you want the full review, yeah, I named it Swaying on the Hudson. Yeah,
Swaying on the Hudson.
yeah. That's the name of the episode. If you want Gabe's full review of that particular show, but yeah, that was good stuff. Alrighty, what else we got? Let's do activity of the year.
No, hang on.
Ooh.
Biggest musical disappointment of the year. I got mine ready to fire. What's yours?
Oh no, you go first because I got
Okay, so mine is they were a very creative deathcore band out of San Antonio.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Of course, I'm speaking about Upon a Burning Body, and they went from, I don't know, dude, like the most creative breakfast dish you can imagine to Texas plain toast at the end of the day. Because
Aw.
it wasn't a bad album by any means. It was, in fact, I mean, you know, the lyricism was there, the instrumentals was there, but it just wasn't. They put themselves in a box, and I hate it. Because the first 3 albums, you know, you got shit like Carlito's Way, you got Red, White, and Green, which is, by the way, produced by Will Putney. One of my favorite Upon a Burning albums all the time, right? And just, you know, the whole director shtick, and, you know, it might have been a shtick, but even Straight from the Barrio was a fucking jam all the way through. And then this.
It's funny because if you could look back at that conversation that me and Gabe had about them on the podcast, and Gabe came to that hard realization that maybe that they lean too heavily on the gimmick because once you remove it, it's kind of like, you know.
Still though, it is a gimmick at the end of the day, and I like it. Sucks to say that, but they got away from the gimmick with Straight from the Barrio, and they were kind of like
that was a fucking. What are you talking about? You
being
can't-
Mexican is a gimmick.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, he said it, not the white guy.
Straight from the for real. Straight from the Barrio wasn't a gimmick. Come on now, dude.
Anyway, you know,
If you took the cast from Blood In Blood Out and made a band, that's what they would sound like.
oh, help me with the dude's name. What is the frontman's name?
Josie.
No, not Josie. Anyway, he didn't scream San Antonio once, so to me, it's not a real Upon a Burning Body album.
Antonio.
And that was kind of my biggest disappointment because this is a band we both heavily enjoyed throughout the years, and now it's to a halt.
I'm going to put Wage War on that.
Okay.
Because granted, like I wasn't as fond of the second album as a lot of people were, but I'm more disappointed due to the fact that I think if they went the more experimental route with the whole album, I think I would have liked it a whole lot more. So I thought that was kind of an interesting take that I've never had before with the band. So that was up there.
That is a really interesting take, actually.
Yeah. Crown the Empire. They did their album was completely fucking forgettable, like in every way.
But Post Malone's real glad he got declined from that, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure he is. But yeah, so those are mine. Oh fuck, I forgot to mention fucking for single of the year. I forgot to mention fucking Homicide by Logic and M.
Okay.
Forgot to put that on there. But yeah, yeah, man, that it was a big mess. Those 2 albums were a gigantic miss, and I would definitely put Southern Hostility.
This dude almost said hospitality.
Southern Hostility on there.
Southern
as well.
Comfort.
Yeah, right. Southern Discomfort, Northern Discomfort. We just came with the name of the new band. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
So what do we have up next? Event activity of the year?
Yeah, let's do that.
What did you do this year that was uber exciting?
Disney, bro.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I mean, what's there more to say? We both enjoyed Disney. We had a
Correct.
fun time. We hit rides. We had good food. I hit the parks. I did a little bit more than y'all did, but
You did less than we did.
What?
You did.
Oh yeah, because Universal, but at Disney specifically. Yeah, I mean, we had a great trip, and I think it's funny because my buddies. Oh no, that's totally irrelevant. Never mind.
That was up there. I also took my wife to the Sox game for her birthday, and we had like the whole early patio thing where you like they serve you unlimited food and beer.
Yep.
And I got fucking hammered on Bud Light, and you know me, I had to have like
6, 7.
like 9 of those just to get there. So that was we had a lot of fun. We got shitty. We got shitty. And I plan on going to a hell of a lot more Sox games this year just because we might actually win something this year. I'm not going to get into that.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, I know. I fucking know. But so yeah, those are my activities of the year, I think.
Good stuff. We got anything else?
Beer of the year.
Beer of the year, man. I haven't tried anything that was made in 2019.
I've got SBF on. SBF is my.
Oh yeah, I picked up some Matilda last week, so that's probably up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
SBF by Goose. So Goose Island running away with that category.
Damn you and your good ass healthcare.
Yeah, right, for sure. But yeah, man, I'm actually surprised. EP of the year? Do you got an EP?
I actually didn't put any time or thought into this. Do you have an EP?
No, I don't.
I think we were just kind of so overwhelmed with our albums, and because I did a little bit of reorganizing, and I'm sure you did as well.
Correct.
And we got one last thing on the agenda.
Okay.
Household items that sound like wrestling moves. So this came to my mind because I brought a French press, and I was like, that could 100% be a wrestling move.
Okay, so this is like a cousin of the Porn Star Wrestler game that we played like last year.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's kind of like a distant cousin, but go ahead.
That's the only one I had at the moment. Do you got anything?
The
French press.
The Swifter.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Swifter. So good.
The Swifter.
The dishwasher.
Coffee Ninja.
Coffee Ninja.
Yeah, I mean, what else?
The pull-out couch.
That's not
Maybe.
too bad.
That might be closer to the porn star.
Yeah, and that's not too bad. Shit, let me think now. Now it's gonna bother me.
He's thinking, ladies and gentlemen. He is thinking.
Shit, because I don't know. Soda Stream. I don't know. Fuck.
The soda stream. Are you gonna piss on him?
Yeah, man, you never know. Fuck.
Just the French press. And I was like, that is 100% gonna be a fucking wrestling move if it's not already.
I mean, we could look into it if you want. Because I do want to do another
Wrestlers or porn stars.
Yeah, but because I think the last one just left my browser history, so I think it might be time to bring it back around and
Might have to pull up that incognito, my friend.
Yeah, right. Maybe do that for the podcast. But other than that, I mean that's all the categories and stuff that we did. But yeah, like how was your year overall? How would you rate this year, 2019?
Out of
however you feel.
However I feel.
Yeah.
I had a great year, man. We
Yeah.
had I feel like I say this every fucking year in review. It was a fucking roller coaster to start from finish. We had great times, we had bad times, we had even worse times, but we're back on top. And 2020 is the year of all the eye doctors with their 2020 vision bullshit, right?
Correct.
And I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I got no complaints, dude. You just got to take everything with a grain of salt, and you got to keep pushing.
Correct. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same category. We definitely had some lows this year, but I think we're starting to turn them around a little bit. And I think last year I said that the theme would be intentional changing for the better. So I think maybe we accomplished that a little bit. That's not too bad.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Elisana's getting older, and that's kind of blowing my mind. Especially since since we've done this show, I've had it.
You've had no kid,
and then
no wife, and then kid.
Yeah. No house, no dog. Like my life has very much changed in the last several years. And I mean, especially with her, kind of seeing her grow up because she's so smart and she learns so much, and it's just. It's nonstop, and I'm genuinely curious from like your perspective because you've seen her grow up too,
yeah.
And you don't get to see her every day. So like you see her and her growth sort of like in spurts, you know what I mean? Like she's growing and she's smart and it's ridiculous. I got my wife a waffle maker for Christmas, the official Disney
waffle maker,
the one
Mickey Mouse one.
It makes the Mickey Mouse ears and stuff like that. I think that's probably my favorite thing I've given this year because it was like a much laid back year because of the Disney trip. So we were kind of just saving all our cash. So. Yeah, Elisana cleaned up, but I didn't get anything, and not really, but I didn't really want anything. I was happy with my trip, so
for sure.
But yeah, man, you got anything else, Gabe?
For Christmas, my buddy got me. He got 3D printed miniatures of characters we played in a campaign 3 years ago and hand painted them. So that was really
nice.
Fucking cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, what else do we have? We had the Bring Me the Horizon thing. Did you get through all that?
No.
Maybe
we'll put it for next week.
Yeah, maybe it might be best because I clicked on a song and it was 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
This is something I might have to digest in pieces.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm not It's not. They're not fucking Metallica. I'm not gonna fucking listen to 10-minute songs. It's just simply not
two album reviews next week.
2 album reviews. What's the
One
other
retro, one.
Oh, okay. Well, no. Well, what's the retro one?
Bruh.
What?
I don't want to give it away.
Oh, text it to me.
Okay, I'll text it to you.
Like right now.
Like right now.
Like
Well,
it's very
you're gonna pause the whole fucking show?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna pause the show. It's my show. I can do whatever I want. Plus, we're only 45 minutes in, and I expect this episode to be longer. Usually, these episodes are long. It's about an hour and a half.
Really? I thought these episodes were always short.
No, about an hour. The last one was about an hour and a half, I believe.
Okay, so we got about half that.
Yeah, that's sad.
So that's the retro one we're doing. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Don't we have the Rise and Fall of Mice and Men too next week?
Oh man, we got a stacked.
Yeah,
agenda.
at least in the music for sure. I'm gonna try to see another movie in the meantime because I heard Knives Out was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I heard that was good.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to see what else we can do this year. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, man, I think that would have to be it. I guess one of the shorter episodes we've had, but that's okay. Because
Quality over quantity, my friends.
For sure. We covered a lot of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So this is it. This is the last episode of 2019. The next time we will be speaking to you, it will be 2020, 2019 being the most active year in this podcast history. So thank you guys for joining us for the whole entire year. Hopefully you guys have liked what you've heard this last year, and hopefully next year you guys will come along with the ride for us because we enjoy doing the show, and we will continue to do so as long as we got people out there who are interested. One of the cooler things that happened this year is we had somebody actually reach out to us to do an album review. I think that was one of the cooler things that happened recently. But yeah, man, if you guys got comments, questions, or concerns, you guys know the deal. Get at us. Definitely opening to hearing suggestions and maybe new ideas for 2020 to kind of think about what's going on. Gabe, is that all you got?
Yeah, hit us on Twitter, Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Let us know.
So yeah, that was episode 145 of the Second City Kids podcast. We will see you here for the first one of the new year, episode 146.
146.
Yeah, prematurely. But until next time, folks, deuces. Did not do what I wanted to do.
He done goofed.
Thank you guys for joining us this week on the Second City Kids podcast. You can like us on iTunes, Google, anywhere else podcasts are found. Any comments, questions, or concern, you can email us at secondcitykids@gmail.com. Until next week, folks, deuces.